நீங்கள் பார்த்துக் கொண்டிருப்பது ME24 தமிழ்.
From global icons to Canadian trailblazers, hear the stories behind the success. Only on Pioneer's Spotlight.
In today's competitive landscape, effective marketing is essential to elevate your brand. To achieve this, you need the expertise of true marketing professionals. Marketing Experts offers a comprehensive suite of services designed to boost your brand: event marketing, brand marketing, radio, TV, and digital marketing, movie theater ads, video and audio production, photo shoots, web design, graphic design, and printing. Unlock your brand's potential. Contact Antan Arumainayagam at 437-997-2307 today or visit www.marketingexpertsinc.ca. Marketing Experts, your partner in victory.
Welcome to today's episode of Pioneer Spotlight, a talk show where trailblazers from the industry share their amazing journey to our community. Today, we have an incredible guest with us. She is a legal expert. She has over 25 years of experience in her professional field. Welcome, Ms. Sobini Tharmalingam.
Thank you.
எப்படி இருக்கிறீங்க?
எப்படி?
Good. Thank you. So, before we dive into your business, could you tell me about your story, like your journey? Like, how did you choose this field? What drew your attention in pursuing law as a career?
So I started my career as right out of school. I entered into, I started working for a trustee in bankruptcy. It's a family-owned business. And from there, right up until I had my kids, I was full-time doing both the legal aspect of it, handling a lot of the legal files pertaining to corporate bankruptcy as well as personal bankruptcy.
You were licensed, you were into that full-time?
Yes, I was into full-time, but it's not a license. You have to have an administrative course done in order to practice in that field. But you're more of an executive assistant to the trustees in bankruptcy, who are almost like lawyers that specialize in the bankruptcy and solvency part.
Okay.
Yeah, so it started off that's where my legal experience started.
Okay.
And then life happens. I started having,
for everybody does.
Yes, and after my second child, I decided it was just way too much.
Okay.
And I went from being from 9 to 5 to what I thought would be a part-time as a realtor. Which turned out to be a lot more than 9 to 5.
Multiple domains
exactly.
in your profile. Okay.
Yes.
That's great to know.
Yes, I'm a jack of all trade. So I've experienced a lot of things along the way. So that helped me to be ultimately where I am right now.
Okay.
So what was interesting was after I had my second child, I wanted to do the part-time, where I thought real estate would come in handy. It became a full-time job, which wasn't, so it was a very challenging time for me, but, and I'm a single mom as well, so that was another challenge.
How did you find time to juggle things around and manage?
It's very hard. It's it's very hard because sometimes you need to make sure that, your kids are attended to as well, and they were really young kids as well.
Yeah.
But, I have to, I do showings in between their classes. So I'll drop them in classes and then I'll go do some showings and then, do my research. And it was a lot of hectic, but I did have support of my mom and my family, so that I could drop them over there. Exactly. Okay. And that's what shaped me as well. The motivation was there for the kids, that I need to show them that, this is their mom is strong. And get somewhere.
Independent.
Exactly. And they learned a lot from me as well. And so eventually, doing my real estate career, I started advising, it's not about buying and selling only. It's about doing research on permits, how you can, investments, and sometimes, contractors take actions against my clients, and I tend to help them out with the legal side of it.
Okay.
And it was one of my clients, who was a close friend of mine, who said, why don't you just, get into this field?
Pursue.
So
as a
exactly.
career. Okay.
So instead of pursuing a long-term education in being a lawyer, I decided to try the paralegal aspect of it.
Side of it. Okay.
Exactly, and it came natural to me after that because I've gone through the stages already, and I have a lot of experience in the legal field. So it just came very natural.
Everything fell into place.
Everything fell into place. I know around that time, my kids hardly saw me. I was full-time in school, trying to get my license, right? And my kids sometimes don't see me at all, but thankfully my mom was there to take care of them most of the time. But at the end, it worked out.
Okay, that's an amazing journey to listen to. So the legal system, like it's known for its delays, right? So it can be frustrating to clients. So what are the biggest challenges you faced, like be it delays or any kind of challenges for that matter, like? Would you care to explain?
Yeah, so I mainly focus on landlord and tenant board matters and small claims court matters. They kind of go hand in hand, where we're facing a lot of delays where if you get an order from the landlord-tenant board, you got to take it to small claims court. So after COVID, there was a huge delay. Sometimes we're not getting a hearing for 1 year sometimes, right? Because of all the closure.
Those are trying times.
Exactly. And that was a huge challenge for my clients who wanted to get rid of a tenant easily.
It's frustrating.
Right? It is, exactly. So my aim was to try to make it easier for them. We can't avoid the delays, but I'm trying, I find ways to help them expedite it. So there are legal process that we can take that could expedite a hearing, and I'm known to do just that, where I filed the right application to make it a little bit quicker for them and give the options that are much more, like each cases are different and unique. So it helps to have a sense of how to go about doing something the fastest way. So
that brings me to my next question. Like post-COVID, everything was online. The culture of work from home, like set in. So you're technical. I remember you telling me you're a tech savvy, and that helped you in kind of navigating people, your clients, through the legal system. So can you explain a bit about that?
Yes. So even before COVID, I was more like tech savvy. I have devices of all kinds. I'm a huge Apple fan. So all my devices, I needed to have them sync, and I have to have them readily available to me. So I would literally do an offer right in front of a house, right, even before the COVID even started, and have it done as quick as possible. And I always carry my phone, my iPad everywhere I go. People call me sometimes the iPad girl. It's how they reckon.
But keeping those in hand, they always comes to work, right?
Exactly. And I could work from anywhere. I don't have to be seated somewhere. COVID time, yes, there was a lot of issues where a lot of my clients had no idea how to go about doing these hearings, where they were able to attend the landlord and tenant board and try to present their case. But now they're stuck with, how do you, go about doing it virtually? So that's where the most challenges were, and there's vulnerable clients. So I started during the time where everything was slow. I got my job at a legal clinic through a very good friend of mine who's a lawyer. And that's where everything was online. So even working was remote. We never went into...
we didn't have any choice, though.
Exactly. And these legal clinics have vulnerable clients. So you do need to represent them the best way possible. So you need to take the initiative. And that's something that came to me because I'm I'm familiar with all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What you need to do to get acquainted with online applications
Platforms,
and stuff.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that did help a lot
Okay.
in my field and in assisting clients who don't have that facility, right?
Yeah. So that's great to know to have a tech savvy legal paralegal
Exactly.
legal aid.
And I
you do.
like paperless. I don't like wasting trees. And
So
I
much
don't
for the
like
environment, huh?
Exactly. And also you print multiple, before when you go to the landlord and tenant board, you need to take 3 copies, one for the adjudicator, one for the other side, and one for yourself.
Okay.
So all of that, you're wasting these papers because sometimes you're not using them. So I'm the kind of person that likes to keep everything at hand. I'm not carrying these files with me wherever I go.
There are tons of files if you carry a file for each of your clients.
Exactly. But now I have it right, in my phone. I have my iPad if I needed to see a bigger version of it. And then I have my computer. Everything is synced together. And wherever I am, I have access to the files.
Access to the files.
Yes.
So yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So affordable legal service, that's very important, given the circumstances in the world which we are living in. So you are known to give a fixed price to your clients, without any hidden fees. How did you come to that decision? You're not going to charge any hidden fees from your clients, and how did it help create a rapport with your clients, and how did it, how did it work?
And so, owning your own business, there are a lot of issues with I'm not more of a financial kind of person, so I don't look at the profit or anything like that. But
okay, there is somebody who doesn't look at that.
Yes, I don't. I should, but I don't.
Okay.
But for me, it's about helping people, right? Dealing with people at the legal clinic where they're vulnerable, they don't have the funds, it's free service. I was more happy doing that without charging them. But when I was doing it when I'm doing it on my own now, I want to offer that type of easy access to justice where they don't have to pay so much. I've gone through legal files on my own where I couldn't pay my lawyers. So sometimes, certain cases, and
so
I know
that kind of triggered you.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I could still offer the same expertise or the professionalism that a lawyer would, but for a lower cost. So, and then I want them to know, listen, you pay me this until I finish this portion of the job. And once I'm done that, this is how much it covers. So phase 1 is this much. And if you want to go to the next stage, and you don't have to hire me for that, if you're not happy with the phase 1 part of it. So you could save money on that if you want to go somewhere else.
Okay.
But I never known one client who did that with me, but it's because
people trust you.
Exactly, and they know that my fees are pretty good, and they actually don't look at me as a paralegal; they look at me as a lawyer. Right. So they'll be always "Oh, I'm on the phone with the lawyer," and I'm like, "No, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a licensed paralegal, right?"
Yeah.
But I do give the same.
But that's the kind of trust people put in you.
Exactly, and that's a trust that I want with them. It's not about it's not about money. It's not about how much I could get out of these people. It's about how I can help them.
Help the people. Wow, that's great. There are limited people in the world.
Exactly. And I want to be as transparent as possible. I don't want anyone to think, okay, you know what, you told me this much and now you're charging me this. No, everything's right there. My retainer shows exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings me to my next question. Honesty and communication are the keys while you are in this profession, right? So how do you expect people or your clients to communicate with you, or they have to be honest with you, they have to tell you the issues? So how will you tackle your clients, and how does that work?
So with the line of work that I do, honesty for me is very important, especially coming from my clients.
Yeah.
It's you don't lie to your doctor because you need to have a certain treatment done and a diagnosis done properly. But if you lie, then you're not going to get the...
They say always, don't lie to your lawyer and your
doctor. Exactly. Lawyers could lie, whatever that they need to do to get you out of a mess, but don't lie to your lawyer, to someone who's trying to help you, right? So that's one thing I tell my clients, that if you're going to hide something from me, then I rather not work on this case because I can't help you properly. And I don't want to go into a situation where like we're messing up the file and you're paying for nothing. So I want to make sure that the file comes in and goes as quickly as possible, and it should benefit both of us, right? So and the way I tackle that is have things in writing. Sometimes they call me and they spend hours with me. I do talk with them. I do sympathize with them on the phone a lot, more than I should. But they're not paying by the hour, right? So they could call me anytime and they're still like, exactly, right? To a point where my kids are like, I think you should cut the call, right? So for people that are having issues with communications, I always say, listen, if you want me to do something, text me.
Okay.
Or if you have information for me, text me and send it to me in writing, so that I will always have that with me to refer to. So I did, like there are challenges where recently I had a client who did everything on her own. She called me for an initial consultation.
Okay.
And then later on, she went ahead and did what I told her to, like said I was going to do for her. She did it on her own. It all failed.
That backfired.
Exactly. So I had to do the whole file all over again. And it was for rent that wasn't being paid, and she needed to evict the tenant. So I said, okay, I'll do it properly. And I was in the process of doing it, and she missed telling me that there was an N9. An N9 means that the tenant already agreed to leave on a certain date. But it's just sitting there. That's a piece of gold mine right in their hands. And they didn't even tell me. And I said, why didn't you tell me about this? And just within days, I was able to get an order for eviction.
So there are no room for errors.
Exactly. So I'm like, if you had told me this earlier, we didn't have to go through all this. There's a waiting game. There's already a delay at the justice system. Why do we have to delay on our part? And that's one thing I pride in, is that I don't delay anything on my side.
That's great. So a minute mistake, a simple mistake can cause great repercussions.
Exactly. And lying, it's not going to lying or just like hiding details is not going to help at all.
Right? Help. Okay, that's great to know. We'll be back after a short commercial break.
Looking to sell your gold? At New Runganas Jewelry, we offer the best prices. Get top dollar for 10, 14, 18, 21, 22, or 24 karat gold. We're your trusted choice for buying and selling gold, silver, platinum, diamonds, and even Rolex watches. Need cash fast? New Runganas Jewelry gives the best market rates for gold pawning. Visit us at 6055 Steeles Avenue East, Unit C 102, Scarborough, or call 647-702-2159. New Runganas Jewelry, where trust meets value. Visit us today.
Welcome back to Pioneer Spotlight. Now I'm going to host Parwathy, and we have Sobini Tharmalingam with us today. So, Ninga, since you are in this landlord-tenant dispute field, what kind of trends do you see emerging in the field, and how do you take measures to adapt to that kind of emerging trends?
With the trends in, especially with eviction, right? That's major thing is that with the housing markets and people giving their investment properties as rentuku kudukuradhu, right? அதுல எல்லாம் வந்து இப்ப tenants வந்து pay பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. இப்ப எல்லாருக்கும் காசு கஷ்டம், right? So financial difficulties have caused a lot of issues, not only for tenants but also for landlords. So when you're looking at landlords with a high mortgage, we're looking at the rental income being the primary source. But tenants don't understand that. So they're like, okay, you know what? And again, the delay is what's going to benefit the tenants, because they're not going to get evicted anytime soon because they have to go through the legal system. So in order to get them evicted, you have to be a little bit more creative to see what path you could take or what avenue you can take to create an earlier termination.
Okay,
because
hypothetically speaking, can you give me an example?
Yeah, so there was one where the landlord had approached me about evicting a tenant who has not paid, and it looks like the property might be also damaged as well, where she's not able to go in and she just wants the tenant out.
Okay.
So I said, okay, why don't we just go and meet with this tenant and see what her plan is.
Okay.
So I went in there with her, just giving 24-hour notice. And what helped was that she was very nice. The tenant was very nice. And I understand there are some financial issues.
Yeah.
And I asked her, okay, you know what? It seems that you can't pay rent. So if you were to move, when is a good time for you to move? And she said, you know what, give me another month. Next month, end of next month, I'll move out. So I said, okay, you know what? That's fine. Let's just, and again, technology, right? This is where I carry everything with me. My iPad came out, and I filled out an N11, and I made her sign it right then and there. I didn't make her, but we signed it mutually agreeing to terminate the tenancy at the end of the
next month.
Exactly. So what that did was that made a timeline for her to find another place.
So she's not committed to move by the end of next month. She cannot make any excuses anymore.
She can't make any excuses because she's there. She needs to move out, because what happens is we go get an order terminating. If she doesn't move out, the sheriff comes in and forces her to move out. So this way, the landlord is assured that they're not, at this point, they're not worried about getting back the money. They're worried about getting back the house. Exactly. And put someone else maybe in that could pay the rent. So that's one of the things that I find is helpful outside of the legal system, where you're saying, okay, you know what, I'll work with you, right? And that's something that works for some, and some it doesn't work.
Right? Different scenarios, different kind of issues.
Yes, and one thing that I notice is like people asking for cash for keys. So if you don't pay rent, so if they have like $10,000, $20,000 in arrears, so we say they say, okay, you know what, we'll leave this place, right? If you give us $10,000, I'll give you the keys.
Landlord have to pay the tenant
to leave.
That's absurd.
And then they give the keys. So this is how, because there's no way to kick out a tenant, and this is very crucial, is that you can't kick out a tenant unless you go through the landlord and tenant board, unless they move by themselves. So this is what they say is, we'll give you the key, they'll hold the house hostage until they're forced to move out, if you don't give the amount that they're asking for. Exactly.
I didn't know this thing could happen.
This is, I mean, some people even ask for like $40,000 one time.
That's absurd.
Exactly.
40,000?
Exactly.
They're staying in their home. They're not going to pay the rent.
They're not going to pay
Still
rent.
demanding the money.
Exactly. So this is how they get leverage out of that, right? But what they don't understand is they're hurting the landlords. When they're hurting the landlords, what they're going to do is they're not going to be that much landlords to house them who are tenants, right, in the future.
Obviously.
So So now what even my clients are willing to do is they're so desperate to have these tenants leave that what they'll do is they'll say, you know, what I'll even suggest, okay, if they leave by this date and they sign an N11, then we'll waive all the rent. So if they could, there's one of my clients were owed $25,000. And $25,000, they said, "Well, wait."
A lot of money.
Exactly, but the thing is, they want their money. This is a brand new property, and they weren't allowed to go in. The landlords weren't allowed to go in. The police won't get involved in landlord-tenant matters. So we said, okay, you know what? We'll waive it. If you leave by January 30th, if you leave, then we'll waive it, and you don't have to pay that. She said yes. She signed the N11. And we filed that. We got the termination, and she put a set aside saying that I forced her to sign it. But now we got a court order saying that she has to leave. Right? So there is ways to get these people out, and we don't have to. She's still responsible for the amount because she didn't leave on January 30th.
So she's still liable
because
for
the condition was that she has to leave. So yes, there's a breach there. So it's like you're going to have to pay not only for the arrears, you're going to pay for the damages as well. So we'll go after them for that.
Yeah. That's nice. That's nice to hear. Yeah.
And so that's another way of getting them to leave is okay. You know what? There's a benefit. Some landlords are like, I just want my house back. I can't.
Desperate times.
Exactly.
Desperate times.
They don't mind how much they lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sad that's happening, but but at least they'll get their house back, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
and sooner than later, right?
Sooner than later,
this is a technique that I tend to help out navigating for those difficult tenants.
Okay. So that's good to hear. So since you've been in this field like for over 20-25 years, like what would you like to tell upcoming people, like, you know, if somebody want to pursue law and in landlord-tenant disputes, or in your field, like, what would you like to tell them?
I know that it's a challenging time and people are very stressed out, but a lot of people that I know, they follow a set rule. Okay, you know what? I had the same situation that happened to my friend, so I'm going to do the same thing. So one size doesn't fit all in the legal field, right? So what I would suggest to landlords or tenants who are having issues with the housing, even small claims with creditors and debtors, I would say, you know, try to find a legal rep. Okay. Don't try to do this on your own, because there are times where they try to do it on their own and it just delayed it a lot more because you have to start the whole application all over again, because it does tend to get dismissed. So I would say, you know, it's a small price to pay in the long run, but get that legal advice, because you have to tell a doctor how, like, so that they could diagnose you properly and give you the right treatment.
Medication.
Exactly. If the treatment is not good, it's not going to go away, right? It's not going to help you at all. You're just going to make it worse by taking your own medication. So what you think is, is appropriate.
Gotta be right, yeah.
Exactly. So I would always advise, I know it's hard, more than certain scope of a paralegal, and hiring a paralegal is a lot better because of the cost is less. I know there's some that hired lawyers to handle the landlord and tenant board, but they don't, they're not experienced in that field, right? And I had situation where I deal with lawyers who had no idea the process. I was able to win the case because of that. So, but you're paying a lot more to the lawyers. Why do that? Get a paralegal, get your facts straight and try to make it work, even if you have to pay a little bit, right, to do that. But don't try to do this on your own. I know sometimes it looks easy because, we make it sound easy, but it's not.
Okay. So if somebody want to approach you, like for your services, how do they contact you?
They could call me for a free consultation. Okay. My phone number is,
you can tell the viewers.
416-903-3385. Again, most importantly, if I don't answer, please do text me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Okay, we are leaving her contact information and your office address?
Yes, it'll be there. Yes,
Yes. We are leaving the information below the screen. You can, take them down and contact her if you need her services at all. So last but not the least, I would like to ask you one thing. If not a paralegal, what would you be?
Oh boy. If I'm so used to being a paralegal, I think I'll still be offering free advice. Somehow, somewhere. I'm a problem solver, so it's a jack of all trades. Exactly. Okay. So I'm all about helping people. So I will be continuing to help people, but I'm also someone who likes to do things on their own. I'm very independent, so I might be starting something aside from like not being paralegal, but something else equally there, right? Okay. And my real estate is also there as a backup.
So entrepreneurship.
Exactly, yes. And since young, I always wanted to be a business owner, and I think me being working under myself is a lot more stressful than working under somebody else. But I thrive in that. That's my motivation.
Let more women get inspired from that and be independent business owners.
Exactly, and I encourage that. Like, I do want women to excel in this, in this industry, because there are needs, and I feel like they have more compassion. Right. Yeah. And I don't want to be, discriminatory over there.
Cool, we're chill. I understand.
I'm not gender biased, but I do want them to come out of the kitchen and start,
something on our own.
Exactly, and make it worthwhile, right?
Yeah. That's good to know. We had an amazing chat with Miss Sobini Tharmalingam. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
மீண்டும் ஒரு Pioneer Spotlight எபிசோடில் சந்திக்கும் வரைக்கும் this is Parwathy signing off. நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
In today's competitive landscape, effective marketing is essential to elevate your brand. To achieve this, you need the expertise of true marketing professionals. Marketing Experts offers a comprehensive suite of services designed to boost your brand: event marketing, brand marketing, radio, TV, and digital marketing, movie theater ads, video and audio production, photo shoots, web design, graphic design, and printing. Unlock your brand's potential. Contact Antan Arumainayagam at 437-997-2307 today, or visit www.marketingexpertsinc.ca. Marketing Experts, your partner in victory.
From global icons to Canadian trailblazers, hear the stories behind the success. Only on Pioneer's Spotlight.
நீங்கள் பார்த்துக் கொண்டிருப்பது ME24 தமிழ்.